Hi, this is Kelsey Kennedy. Photoshop is an Adobe application that allows the user to edit images. In Hort 120, I learned how to use this application to digitally render an AutoCAD drawing. To begin, 6 PDF documents were printed from an AutoCAD drawing of a small garden plan. There were only supposed to be 5. However, I forgot to include one of the layers that should have been included in number 5 and needed to create a 6th document to include the lawn layer. The printed PDFs were used as background templates that were used to create selections. Multiple templates were needed to create the selections because there were many overlapping lines in the original drawing. The overlapping lines would have interfered with the selection process. The next step after importing the 6 PDFs was to use them to create saved selections of the tree, plant groupings, hardscaping, and accessories. Creating saved selections was necessary because it saved a lot of time later on by not needing to select each object every time a new layer of color or a texture was added. It also allowed me to focus on one part of the drawing at a time without needing to worry about messing up other parts of the drawing. To accomplish this, the magic wand tool was used to create a selection. Then the selection was saved. After everything was assigned to a saved selection, selections could be loaded one at a time to be worked on. The first thing that the saved selections were used for was to fill the objects with color. Colors could be changed by altering the foreground and background colors. These colors could be modified further by adjusting the hue and saturation levels. Hue changes the darkness of the color, while saturation determines whether the color looks warm or cool. After the selections were filled, a brush was used to do touch-ups and fill in white spaces. From there, the burn tool was used to add shade, while the dodge tool was used to add highlights. Adding shade and highlights establishes a light source, gives the drawing depth, and makes it look more realistic. The color dynamics or brush settings were used to change the type of brush and to alter the size and opacity of the color application. A splatter brush was then used to add texture to the tree and the shrubs in the drawing. After adding color and texture to each of the selections, graphic symbols were added to the plant grouping selections in the drawing. This was accomplished by creating plant graphics brushes using the plant graphics PDFs provided by Professor Moni. Adding graphic symbols to the plants makes it easy to differentiate between different types of plants used in a drawing. Layers and groups were used to organize the drawing. The saved selections were organized into layers. Since there were a lot of layers, they were grouped into folders to make them more manageable and to keep the drawing organized. Groups were created for the 6 PDFs, tree, shrubs, graphic symbols, and site features. The order of the groups was important because the order determines which objects appear in front of each other in the drawing. To conclude, 6 PDF prints were printed from an AutoCAD drawing and used to create templates. Those templates were used to create layer selections. From there, the layer selections were used to apply color, shadow, textures, and graphics to the drawing. They were also used to organize the drawing and to focus on one selection at a time. The Edit Fill feature, Dodge and Burn tools, and Color Dynamics options were used to turn the saved selections into realistically rendered plants, accessories, and hardscaping. After applying color, graphic symbol brushes were used to apply graphic symbols to the plants to help differentiate between the different types of plants used in the drawing. Finally, all of the different components are organized into layers, and the layers were grouped into folders. Photoshop is a useful application for digital rendering. However, I still find hand rendering to be faster and easier than using software to render digitally.